Hey guys, so this is the third and hopefully final video of the FunNGames tutorial. So hopefully again that you've tried some of this yourself first and that you've tried to do Mad Libs Random and the add method on your own. And now you're kind of checking over your answers, or you were just stuck and you couldn't figure out how to do it. So we're going to look at how to use arrays and look at how we can use some of the string values or integer values to do some output and print line statements. Now the reason I do this stuff with you guys is because next year in grade 12 the AP exam tends to have a lot of things to do with strings and arrays. So I'm trying to get you guys used to the types of questions that you might encounter in that grade. And yeah, so I want to get you guys doing some concatenation. You've done it before, but we're going to do a little bit more using arrays. And maybe doing a little bit of mathematical stuff using loops and whatnot. Just doing print line statement stuff instead of making games or making simulations, just to give you guys a different perspective on how these sorts of things can be used. So what I have here is I actually have a permanent Mad Libs method that always prints out the same statement. I'm gonna get rid of the commenting, and you should too if you haven't already. And what it does is it creates a Mad Lib from, as you can see, index number 0 in the numbers array. So that's actually the first place in the numbers array. Index number 1 in the adjectives array, which is the second place in the adjectives array, and index number 2 in the nouns plural array. And oh, it looks like I've got here, yeah, and then the last piece is also going to be from the nouns plural array. Sorry, I just noticed my little typo here. And then the last index, or sorry, index number 3, which would be actually the fourth space in the nouns plural array. It uses all this to come up with a Mad Lib. So here's what a Mad Lib looks like. Now that we've filled all those arrays in, there's actually stuff in those. We're going to not even have to run it. We should have something that comes up. I believe it's called from, let's see, Mad Libs permanent. Did I call it from the constructor? If I called it from the constructor, then something should come up. I did, so let's see, where did it go? Where is it on my screen? It came up somewhere. There we go. Okay, it's right over here. Okay, I'm gonna actually clear the screen and show you one more time what happens. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. I'm going to reset it. And so that will call the constructor again, and we get all these numbers. That was from our other printout. We can, I think I showed you guys in the other video, the test out, it kind of just shows all the numbers in that numbers array. And then it says, 73 furry horses came running towards the kittens. And that's what it's going to say all the time. That is my permanent Mad Lib. If I reset, it's going to say that again, except, oh, sorry, the numbers array is random. So it will choose a different random number every time. So 30 furry horses came running towards the kittens. But furry horses came running towards the kittens based on the fact that we hard-coded that array, okay, that it wasn't random, that's what's going to get printed out. What we had in numbers, we used that for loop to fill it. Okay, so where is that? Fill numbers here. We used a for loop to fill it with random numbers. So that's always going to be a new random number based on the fact that that array gets filled with different random numbers every time. So let's look down here and let's use some of this kind of stuff to do different print line statements. It says, similar to the Mad Libs permanent method, create a new Mad Libs that uses one index from numbers, then one from adjectives, then one from nouns plural, and then says, came running towards, and another one index from nouns plural, okay? The index used should be random. Okay, so here's how we're gonna do that. We're gonna, of course, have system.out.println. And so what we're going to put here is, like I said, it's going to be an index from numbers, except we're going to do numbers, and it's going to be random. So inside the square brackets, we're going to say Greenfoot dot get random number, and then we're going to say, oop, a little spelling error in there, and then we're going to say numbers dot length, because that is the last value we want, is the whatever that's actually not the last, that's the second last, that's after the last value we want. We want a random numbers from the number array. Sorry, we want a random numbers from the number array, and we want it to be between 0 and the length of the numbers array. Okay, so system.out.println numbers, and we're going to do that. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is, so this is going to print out a number, a random one from the numbers array. We're then going to add in a space here. Okay, so we did what's called concatenation. We first printed out, we don't want to have double quotation marks around this because we actually want a value from the numbers array. So we want it to use one of those array's values. We don't want it to print out a specific string. Whereas here we want specifically a space. Okay, now this builds on things that we did back in processing. You guys should have an idea and understanding of what's going on here. So we're taking a variable value, adding a space, okay, to it, then adding another variable value, okay, and the other variable value we're using this time adjectives. Square bracket, adjectives, sorry, another square bracket, and then we are going to again say Greenfoot. Oh, I'm spelling all sorts of things wrong here. Green, oh, I put Grenfoot. Foot dot get random number, and we're going to say numbers dot length. Okay, so we're going to open this up here. Oh, not numbers.length. That's my bad. We want adjectives.length, right? Because the adjectives list might be different from the length of numbers, and that would create an index out of bounds error. We don't want that. Adjectives. Okay. Square bracket. I'm going to actually close Chrome. I'm wondering if that's what's making this go so slow. I'm going to force quit that one. Good. That might help speed up my computer a little bit, make it a little less awkward. Okay, so adjectives and then plus. We're going to do another space. Okay, so that will print out a number and then an adjective plus another space. And then we're going to put in nouns, plural. Okay, I'm actually going to put this, on separate lines just so you guys can see this a little bit better. And let's see here. So we'll put that there. Then we're going to put this one on this line. Okay, nouns plural. And then we're going to put square brackets, Greenfoot dot get random number. And again, nouns plural dot length. Okay, and square brackets, okay, and then we'll add on again, not a space this time because we are supposed to have the words came running through the, okay, so let's do space came running through the, okay. So what's happening here is we're adding in an actual string. The idea of Mad Libs is that you have this this blank space that you can actually fill in with a random noun on one page, and then you kind of fill in all these nouns and adjectives, whatever it asks you to do, and it kind of comes up with a funny statement. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing here. So we've got came running through the, and then we're going to add another noun plural onto this. Nouns plural. Or running through, running towards. Okay, nouns plural, and then we're going to add again Greenfoot, and I spell Grenfoot with that weird capital because I'm trying to type too fast and my computer's going too slow. Greenfoot dot get random number nouns plural dot length. Oops, put it down between there. Hope I'm going slow enough for you guys. Sorry about that. Not ideal. Okay, so here's what we've got now. Okay, we said to print out on a line of code. Oh, I'm missing, hold on, a round bracket to close off the system.out.println statement. You can see that's what gets highlighted there. So we print out something from numbers, then a space, then something from adjectives, then a space, adjectives, sorry, then a space, then nouns plural, then came running towards the, and then nouns plural again, and so on and so forth. We're going to compile that and we'll show you the result in a second here. Okay, so now we have our permanent Mad Lib, okay, which has a different number all the time because we choose a random number from the random numbers array. Or sorry, no, we not choose a random number. The random number or the numbers array is filled with random numbers. And then we end up with 86 gentle policemen came running towards the horses. Okay, it looks like we've got an extra space in here. So let me just see and get rid of the extra space here. And if you compile again, you'll see new one. 30 insane children came running towards the kittens. Okay, so it's something different every time. It ends up being random. So that's how we can use random numbers with arrays to put together a Mad Lib. Okay, so last piece of this, before we head off, or before I head off, I want us to look at how we can add things together. So it says print out the following. The first value in the array numbers, a plus sign. The second value is in the array bubble sizes, an equal sign, and then the two values added together. So let's look at how we can do this. Okay, first we are going to, let's break this one down for you guys just to simplify it even more. Okay, we are going to create two integer values, okay, that are just local so we can see how this adding works. So let's say value A, and we are going to say the first, it's supposed to be the first value in the array numbers. So numbers. And of course, we are going to put inside the square brackets a 0 because that is the first index in the array of numbers. Okay, the next piece we are going to do here, we are going to do int b equals, now we want the second value in the array bubble sizes. So bubble sizes, okay, again, these arrays both hold on to integer values. That's why we can do this and store them in ints. Okay, so bubble sizes, square brackets, and it's going to be the second index. Okay, so 1. All right. And then it says, okay, so we got that first and second there, okay? Now what we're going to do is I'm also going to create an int total just to break this down again for you. Oops. So int total. Now here's what we can do. Now that we've got these two things stored inside A and B, we're going to just say A plus B. Okay, so that now takes the first value in numbers, the second value in bubble sizes, and it adds it into total right here. Now let's actually print out this statement. So we are going to put here system.out.println. Okay, and we are going to print out these values. So we are going to say A, but if we want the plus sign actually printed, we're going to have to add in a string that has the plus sign. Okay, so this plus sign here just concatenates this value to this string. It doesn't actually do any adding. Okay, whereas this is just the string plus. And then I'm going to add in again B. Okay, so now we're concatenating the string. We're putting together the first value in numbers, printing a plus sign, then printing the second value in bubble sizes. Then we're going to print, okay, we have to add in another piece to this string. So we're going to add in this here, okay, equals plus total. Okay, so now what we have here, system.out.println A plus B plus equals plus total. Okay, So let's look at how this works out. We'll compile that. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Added something more. Perfect. So 60 plus 20 equals 80. Awesome. It's printing out the way we want it to, and 60 plus 20 does equal 80. Let's try compiling again. We should end up with some random numbers because this is coming from the random number array. There we go. 89 plus 20 is 109. Okay, that makes sense, and that seems to be working. So now you can see how we can use values. We can actually use them and add them up, and then we can print them out using concatenation. Okay, we're going to be doing a few more questions like this in the future, so definitely it's good to take a peek at this and see how this works. Okay, I think that's everything in this tutorial. So now you should have bubbles that are coming upwards. You should also have this terminal window that comes up with a new Mad Lib every time, as well as the permanent Mad Lib, okay, that we created before. Well, I actually created that, but just so you guys could see how that worked. Okay, I think that is everything. Hopefully you guys learned something about arrays, and if you didn't, we've got more stuff coming up.